Sanje Chudan Zoje Jano Shanja Bada Dana Chasan Nage Chiche Jebe To Namje Kola Pencha Sanje Rabaraj Sanje Chudan Zoje Jano Shanja Bada Dana Chasan Nage Chiche Jebe To Namje Kola Pencha Sanje Rabaraj Sanje Chudan Zoje Jano Shanje Bada Dana Jabzam Je Daga Chiche Jebe Dana Drola Benja Sanje Drava. Okay. Tamshi does, he dropped the phone on the floor, then he left somewhere. Yeah. And it was wonderful to see looks all of you healthy and looking good. Also still try to everyone just be careful, just make sure don't get sick. It's also a fall, we all got cold. Therefore, everyone be careful. And a lot of things also are mentally. When we think we have something called, also maybe I have got COVID-19, we got scared, we have stress. It's not that serious. There are a lot of things our mind make, but we have to also not careless, to be careful. Then, remember His Holiness yesterday, he told, we have the degeneration time, the weapons time, with that time, or weapons, what they use? Who listened that?
Yeah, he said like atomic weapons.
Atomic weapons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, atomic
and
weapons.
Diseases.
Then disease.
Yeah.
Then Hungary. Then heart. When the heart come in, was it heart or is it fire?
I think he said global warming and then the fires being caused by climate change.
Yeah.
Lots of fires.
Tibetan call Tsongkhapa. Then Nechikawa. Then Mekikawa. And Anikaro. Kawatama member. Kawatama Garo me. Tsongkhapa, Mekikawa. Ani Tsongkhapa, Nechikawa, Mekikawa. Ani Mekawa. 가서 군도 송송 대가도 요다 가와 요래 천지가와 세 요래서 제가 군도 가서 송송 단 천지가와 파진 가서 되네 다 접살 단에 잠벌래야 안에 파티 세리 때리다 뭐 제사버 단 가서 되네 파 대송사 버려서 다 파시 내지가 버려 다 잠벌래 내린다 만라 로 따바고 선제 신되게 내가 뭐 보는 거래서 단데 그 내지가 버려서 모두 독도 매반도 아니 다 뒤질라니 먹게 가와 용 거래서 다 뒤질라 아니 다 가로 집가와 가제 매가와 가제 되게 안에 가wan 타면 매세는 다 있네 다 되는 담을까 집도야 다 빠지 되게 뒤에서 연구해서 송송.
So in Buddhism, we talk about different period of time or era, and so there's like the era of weapon, era of disease, era of famine, and then there's the era of destruction. So there's a destruction usually is caused by the four elements: fire, wind, and so forth. So he's like, according to His Holiness, we have already gone through the era of weapon, where people develop all these different kind of weapons and use it, on each other to harm each other. And then there's the era of disease, so which is like now happening. So it's a pandemic, the disease all over the world. And then there will be like the era of famine, the starvation and so forth. So, and then at the end there will be the era of destruction, which can be caused by the fire and so forth. And so then the whole world will be all gone, destroyed.
But don't worry, our life is fun.
It will not happen during our lifetime.
Like that anyway, Chetan, the doctor maybe like was.
So these are kind of unavoidable or inevitable things.
Chetan, except tell a donate channel this kind of good.
And so just like I said before, if we accept it and then handle it, and then there will be less problem.
Okay, voltage. Anyway. No, I'm just thinking what I'm talking. Look, I'm very, some people, they're also preparing for what I'm going to talk, like that, with the person notes. This doesn't work for me. Something I try to make like that. Whatever something to best. I'm just what in my head. I just go through that. For me, also easy. Therefore, I'm not preparing for my speech. Yes, my speech I made right now. But yeah, lucky, it's also, I think day before last night, His Holiness also mentioned, someone asked, what pandemic time, what we do, what prayer we do. Also, he mentioned for Tara Mantra. It's a very wonderful, I'm sure we create a lot of merit. You guys also mostly join with me also Facebook every night. We don't missing any single day more than 5 months. It's a 7 days week. Therefore, I think we create a lot of merit. Because one is also we have very strong faith for Mother Tara. The secondly also, we feel for our teacher, His Holiness, advice. Therefore, I thought, no, we did a good job. Everyone joined for everywhere, every night, for 4, 5, 6 different countries, people we all to pray is wonderful. Even His Holiness, therefore, I always say now, see people, Oman Prema, always very simple. Everyone can do it simple. I want to do something else. Then Oman Prema, very simple. It's not simple, Last year, His Holiness also, Kala Chakatami, he told me, he told me that in the teaching time, he said, on his life, most mantra he recited the Om Mani Padme Hum. Right? Yeah, he said. And also, he told last week ago, he recited a lot of Tara mantra for every morning. Therefore, don't think, okay, we do all the Om Tara. That's very simple. Geshe doesn't have another thing to do. Not like that, because there are big reasons. Also, that if we able to meditation to the meaning of the 21 Tara, and or so meditation for the Mother Tara, then you visualization, more concentration is the benefit, what the benefit, up to 21 Tara there, there's really, you say, oh, I did it all the time, but I'm always problem. I don't get this. It shows, we're not very concentration. We're not really doing things. But also, don't try to push it, okay? okay, now then I have to get up early, sleep very late, get up early, I have to do it. No, don't do that, okay? We're not about that. Also, if you do maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, you are the same person, then you're tired, then you also, it doesn't work. It's not like that. No. The one thing we need to interest, then effort. In order to interest, we need to find the goal or not the result. But still we are not got result. We have a little bit doubt. Is work or not work? Maybe not working. Therefore, I think we create a lot of merits. Therefore, looks we are not sick. Physically, mentally, I'm sure you guys so it's not easy. I'm sure you guys also difficult time. No one easy, but still will survive physically, mentally. This pandemic time, everyone just try to do their best. The right now we can deal, especially before the beginning, we have not preparing, just jump and happen. Then everyone's a little bit surprised, difficult. But right now, I'm sure everyone better. But I'm sure still we have to go through a very long time. This is not easy to go away. Just prepare to longer goal, then it goes away, and that's good. Before we goal or before we extend, expand the time. It's finished. Go as good, but it's better to just a little bit longer. Anyway, okay. Therefore, yeah. 제가 단데 갑라 소소 나를 때데 완자 아니 뒤저 콤비 갑라 곰때 잡쇼스 곰 강마마 잡아.
Well, at this time, when you're staying at home, if it's available, then try to do some meditation as much as possible.
제 단단가도 곰자나가도 초와서 개leg면도 세면 저와서 개땅 도고면도.
So right now, when we do meditation, it doesn't bring any changes to our mind right away, right?
제자 가지는 가도 곰대 판다 다 니바 마타와다 가도 텔라타가 준장 도고 말 되게.
And the reason why we are not able to have a result of our meditation or practice is because we are not able to, do it continuously.
Pena leka kari yembaina, pena zambaleke leka ro, leka kari yena leka tiga tunde tembala tela junchago, tharimbo yenabu chegodowa.
So any kind of job, if in the world, if you want to get a result from that, then you have to do continuously, for a long time.
제자 안에 아침도 가로 선바 tundu 맞춰봤지. 안에 레바도 요보 용거를 삼에 안에 가로 레벨라 남네 지금 맞춰봤지. 아니 강 덥덥잖아. 나 곰잡나 땡땡 삼나 팽거 소리.
So don't expect, for the result in a very short time, but with the faith and belief that there is a benefit of doing this, and continuously do it, then eventually you will see the result.
제자 다 가상아도 막 곰자네. 다 드리면은 곰자게 나스. 곰자다 당아도 또 따님들 너가 사시고도 깔래 가지고 따님들에도 와.
So as we've been doing meditation little by little every time when we gather together, so we're going to do a little more again today. And so meditation on the equanimity, which is the most difficult one.
아니 대제라 하는 것도 마시대 너가 사수요라도 마시대.
Then after that, comes the recognition of all sentient beings as one's mother.
제가 대야 고페 깔래카온도 양도 쳐서 뱅가도 당가 가리 제용으로 군동가 가리마도 채워서 내가도 소화 소소소 삼라 도파사 텔 저바다데 같은 것도 빼 깔래도 와.
And so that is also, of course, not easy, a little difficult, to think of all sentient beings as one's mother. Just like the mother of this life, and then to think of them, how they've been our mother. To convince oneself, how they've been mother, is not easy.
제자 안에 내내 지나 샘스 변화 디페자도 나 용도 되게 다 명하다 요사로 봐. 변화 담보 소소 녀라고 녀 소소 가사야다다라고. 텔라 때네 야변화 미게 땅념고. 되네 다 마시긴 삼라 변화 다 meeting ala kari chenpo yin sambashi. Kari kun che maso, meeting kari chenpo yin sambashi gomchi. Ta mashi kin sabdala, mashi da choso kali kawo yona. Ane tene, ane ko kari chenpo, tene kari chetang kola, ane tunzhensa, kari chetang dali jilda chungwa. Ta ko kari chewa ta kola paro bajo, ane tunzo gom. Ane yongo shamba, ane nije tene kuyongo tambo pena, susu pena, gasa nyasa tela gom. 다 땅님 공부 갑라야 텐데 가사냐다 간도 타다 소소 가사냐사 엠바이나 바나 간도 탄다 간도 니나라 뭐 가도 니 사치도 와 쇼치네 간도 참아 다 게기도 세거나 주로 세거나 강강 간도 타뇨 자자래 왔어 얘나 니나라 지역에 서서 나 코다 거기 공안이 두고서 때때 요래 간도 가사나 소소 지역 대나지 간도 소소 녀라야 녀가나 야 직 타린도 또 타린도 또 참아 직반으로 좀 겁나 탑시하고도 와
And so, when you're thinking about the sentient being as being your mother, that's main point of that is to remember their kindness when they've been your mother. And so, if you find difficult to think of all sentient beings as your mother, then just think of them as someone who has been very kind to you. And then you think about that person, or being, how they have been kind to you. And so then in that way, then you think about their kindness, And then when you have thought enough about their kindness, then the thought of wanting to repay their kindness will come automatically. And then when that has been developed well, then there will be a love for them. The love, like you say, the force of attraction, coming from the force of attraction, will be there automatically. So, this way you can develop all these minds. And so first, it's very important to have the equanimity. And equanimity, like equalizing, all being as equal, being equal in whatever way. Like the friend, if they're a friend, equally friend. If they're enemy, equal enemy. Like even among the friends, you have different levels. This is my close friend. This is not very close friend, and this is a distant friend, like that. So even that you have to equalize as all being one. Like however many people we have participating here in this teaching today, like about 21 people. And so we all, have this relationship of teacher-disciple or Dharma friends, right, with each other. But still we have preference, towards each other, right? Oh, I like this person better than that person. And this, so we also still have this kind of bias or, unequanimity. And so this is it, that's important for us to equalize that also. So seeing all the friends as equal as well.
friend equal 담보 텐데까 라서 소소가 benna trobo tromo so nyeda to te cha cha som ta ne 제가 단단하도 찍대 쌈나 레 삼바제 맞아 샘로 초발레가 뭐도 다 야네 야데 테 다라 샘 코나 테가나 샘 다라 칸나 샤네 아니 예리 데타와나 아니 코 샘나 간지 용화지 태고서 간지.
And so among the friends, so also equalize the friends by thinking that all sin and wanting to be happy and not wanting any suffering. And so it is difficult to get the result right away, but you have to keep on practicing and meditating on that, and you set your mind on that thought, thinking that they are all equal in wanting to be happy and not wanting any suffering. And if you do that continuously for a long time, then you will get the result.
다 땡가도 시나 삼모 마다면 삼모 다나가도 고와 얘기다 다나가도 레삼모 정도 대 미세게 좋아들 얘기면도 와 제가 그 삼로당 코지 연구에다 다 가지 가서 자도 그나야 꾸꾸꾸꾸꾸 코지 다 쉬마 되게라지 좋아치 뭐지 되는 회사래.
So right now we don't get the feeling, but we just think, oh yeah, that's right, that they are all same and wanting to be happy and not wanting suffering. We think that yes, it's like that, but we don't really get that feeling, that it's like that. But if you keep on meditating for a long time, then you will get that feeling also. It's just like when you start to boil the water, you have to continuously put it on a fire. If you do a little bit and then turn it off a little bit, then it takes a very long time to get to the boiling point, right? But if you continuously keep it on the fire, then eventually it will boil. Have you had a chai?
In India,
any of you have chai? Chai is from India, tea from India.
tea cha, 출로 따나도 늘봐 출로마 저대로 저러시오다나 나로 피 마모 그대로 얘는 뭐 최소 마모 그거요.
So the chai, to get that color, in the, when you mix the milk and then you put the tea leaves or the loose tea into that, then right away you don't get that brown, color of the tea. First maybe it's just white, and then you put it, and then you have to boil for a long time, and then you get the brown, color of that chai, and then it becomes really tasty.
어때 집할때 곰대 대다 노다대 집발도 제가 다 데려가서 곰다 두세인다 다 데리 아마도 말어 어때서 네게 딱 대사거든요. 다 소소가 배나 녀녀도 타마 따님도 곰도 참아 간지 대반도 저 동아면도 봐 칭투인 바지 다가랑 삼았다. 그때 파진가도 다 도그랬어.
And so now we're going to meditate in that way, just like I explained, and see all your friends, all your relatives, all the people that you are close with. Think of them, and think of them are all being same and wanting to be happy and not wanting any suffering.
아니 되네데 아니 대질라다 던소 소소랑 말 까리치 뭐이 소소 좀 못하고 그래서 까리치 뭐이 삼아시 디질라.
And then after that, you think of them, being very kind to you.
아니 되네다 까리 체타데 반다 단다 소소 대바티 간지 소소 조보 아니 니니들라 라레니 쇼알마 코다가 대토 말 가서 공다치 소소 주보 대토 말 치로 빠지면나 저는 니마치 대토 말 제자 아니 까디 탱고 그래 까디 댄스로.
So think about their kindness, in various ways. Like without them, without these people, right, friends, around with us, we won't be able to live even for one night. So think about their kindness, just in that way, and then in many different ways, how they have provided all the things that we are enjoying or experiencing, right? And then think about those things, to remember their kindness.
아니 맛이 텐데지 다 주소 다 텐데 가르침마다 당에 콘솔라 파 아니 가르침마다 파라 아니 지 준소로 파소고 너 삼베 텐데가 주소 좀바 아니 가르데 손데가 로시 깨고 그래서.
And then once you have thought about their kindness, and then you have to generate that thought wanting to repay their kindness.
텐데 로시 치모잖아 아니 영어 샤바데도 코란시 깨용 그래.
So if you have that, strong thought wanting to repay their kindness, without any effort, then that love, that comes from the force of attraction, will come quite easily.
아니 텐데 영어 샤바데 깨어나 아니 라슈 니제 쳔보 코 다를 니제들래요 그래.
And then when you have that affectionate love, or the love that comes from the attraction, then with the force of that, then compassion will also arise very easily.
아니 되네 아니 컴패션 레바나이나 아니 그 학점세 대한 코팅 저양 그래서 그 삼다다 치기래.
And then with that compassion, when you can't bear to see them going through any suffering, and then want to free them from that suffering, and then thinking of that, taking that responsibility upon oneself, which is altruism, and that will come also quite easily.
아니 대전에 아니 이제 샤적을 쌤자다 그 배딱 걸 삼다다 때 지워지나 걸려고 답되고 쇼인사로 왔어.
And then when we have that, that I want to do it myself, to liberate that from suffering, and then you see that how you can do it, is only by becoming a Buddha. And then your thought wanting to become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings, which is a bodhicitta, will come automatically.
제가 다 들은 거 도시 공부해다. 제가 나도 전화도 이게가 대시그래서 다 들을 발음식이라는 것도 샘나 좋아 말했던 것도 고마죠 줘야 뭐.
And so now we're going to meditate in that way, okay? So you know what it is. You have written it down, and you know all the steps, right? But the reason why you are not able to have the experience is because of not having meditated. So we're going to do some meditation now.
제가 지금 보자 담보 자체 도바 만드서 바다 장로 탐죠 담바자 타바 년생가도 냠살라던 타바 년생가도 곰자세 고다.
And so so like Lama Tsongkhapa said, at the beginning, you should acquire all the knowledges, all the all the knowledges of the scriptures, and the text in the scriptures, and then after that, you have to see them as being instruction, or advice for you. So once you see that, oh, this is instruction, this is advice, and then you have to put into practice throughout day and night. So just by knowing it and seeing that as a advice or instruction for you is not sufficient. You have to put into practice throughout day and night, and that's what he said he did. And those who follows him should do the same way.
Okay, 다 저는 당가서 검자한다 가서 당보 땅념 내 나와 아니 이제가 받다 검자 엔데레 거는 저도 검자시 마 셴바다 보셔도는 저시 작은 메다스.
And so now let's meditate from starting from the equanimity all the way up to the fifth point of the seven following course in the instruction, the compassion. Okay, so each time I ring the bell, you change the topic. So I'm not going to talk about each one there, but just change the topic to the next meditation on the next topic when I ring the bell. So right now we're meditating only on the relatives, only on the people who are close with us, okay, on the friends.
Okay.
So once you have that experience, without any effort, spontaneously and effortlessly, then it will be easier to shift on the strangers and enemies.
Okay,
And so right now we don't even have equanimity towards our friends. We have preference over some friends and some friends over others. We like some friend more and some friend less, like that. So there's no equanimity even there. So right now we're going to try to meditate on equanimity on that first only.
Okay. 곰자다 단대값도 야수랜다 왔어. 남중아도 추조나 곰나 지 곰자다 그래 미치다와 야라야 야만 미치 로야와 정도 단단다 소소 안 물체셔다 그래 물체셔나 케케 고야 말스.
And so this is the good time to do meditation at home, right? When you are by yourself and nobody around to disturb you. Even at the center, when we are together in group, it's difficult to meditate because if somebody stands up to walk out, or if somebody clears their throat, even that will distract our mind. But right now, there's nobody around you, and all you have to do is mute, and then that's all. You won't hear anything, right? And that's very easier, much easier to do the meditation in that way.
단다 소소 대사도 변화 딱 그러고 가지 싹 그 양사 가지 소소 부수 도고 맞아 가지 그 양사 되어 되는 섬다고 그랬어.
And then think about, of course, you are in a very comfortable place in your house, right? And so, think of, the place also where you are doing the meditation is very relaxing, comfortable place.
제가 당봉도 다녀봐 당봉 우긴 정도지 겁나. 걔도 우 파당 수다 변에 파당가 파당가 요삼 수다가 요삼 두 전에야 테마 가시 검스. 근데 발음 전에 도는거든. 소소 근데 지도나 전에 제마들 파포야 이다스.
And so maybe first we should start with the breathing meditation, to bring our mind into one place, right? So it will forget about things. Just focus on your breath. So you breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, like that. You do breathing meditation. So when you're breathing in, you think you're breathing in. Follow your mind with your breath. Follow your mind with that. And when you're breathing out, your mind has to follow, thinking that you're breathing out. Not like that. So anyway, so I'm going to ring the bell. When you are done, when I think you have it done enough, then I'll ring the bell, and then you move next, to the equanimity, and then I will ring bell again, and then move next, to the a kind person or mother or kind person, like that. So up to compassion.
Oh yeah. How's it? Are we done? Do you got reach the compassion? Okay. This may be a little bit easy way, okay? Just try to meditation that way. Then when we are very then so many
And so when you have gained spontaneous, effortless experience on this, then it is easy to shift to other kind of beings.
제가 니제 제타와야나 아니 잠바든 니제가도 절 제타와는 젤라메베 아니 되게 가지 수수 메세데베 가지 헬레 용사를 가지.
So if we are able to generate love and compassion towards others, then our life will be very, very happy and comfortable.
좋아. 아니 세단 남주변나 용거전나변나 공적의 인보대 샤바곰고를 해라비래. 배잖아나.
So usually it is said that you have to meditate on love, as an antidote, to hatred or anger.
제자야 개개 가식 두서 그랬잖아. 공적의 인보라 니제 겁나 대야래서. 아니 대야쇼래서 대원에 단대 대야를 도구도 왔어.
And so some teacher says that you should meditate on compassion and as an antidote to anger. I think that could be more effective for some people.
배차잖아 미치변나 공주 장화도 딱 직전에까지 미치가 수술라 공로랑게 왜나? 딱 나도 나 공로랑요 거봐. 나 공로랑 거봐. 딱 그 공로랑에 달라다 샤바고만 니저고만 가니야잖아. 보 니저고잖아. 다 니저 코랑 무시 몸에 왕게 아니 코랑 셈바 맞지와 둥아데 냥게 왜래서 둥아데다 차나 쌈 토와였나? 아니 소리지 코로다 파면도 서봐.
So like if somebody is angry at you, then you can think, oh, poor guy, because of not knowing, the reality, he is having this kind of disturbance. He's going through the suffering of having, being disturbed his mind and saying these things like that, Or may he be free from those sufferings like that. When you think about that, then your anger will go away right away.
나도 코로랑에지 알아. 어떻게 코로랑에데 코랑 기부치는 요 말에.
So a person who is angry at us, you think that person is happy? No, right? The person who is angry with you is not happy at all when he or she is angry at you.
제 장가 그 둥아 라빵원에 전에 둥아피에 람사바피게 땀 나도 통고여로 왔고.
So he or she is going through suffering also at the time when he or she is angry with you, right? So you see that suffering. People don't understand that as a suffering, but there's a suffering there if you understand, and there's a suffering there that's like an obvious suffering, that you can see there. Have you ever been angry at others?
제가 대 저랑게 미파초와데 저랑게 깨지는 뭐 코로 라송섬 제가 소가들네 제가 기부돼.
미신다 콘라서 그 소소 콘도사스.
아.
제가 저러 소소 콘도사.
뭐 소소 파 코로 나와. 제가 다수 아땅게 아코 네 깨지는 코로 라송섬 소가들네 가서 기부면 더 가다.
And also when you make other person angry, right? When you make other person angry, do you have the intention to make that person angry at you? No, right? And then when you think that, oh, because of me, that person became angry. When you feel that, when you think that, you don't feel happy also, right?
제 장가 때도 좀 딱 나도 투 코로 랑게지도 와. 대야 코라에 집어치는 요 말. 대다 코 샘라 페 간제 샘고 공조 간제 오고 동박은 소다 인제 믹다다 인제로 그래서 꼭 둥아까지.
So that, like, in the same way, the person who is making us to be angry is not happy either, And so that person who is doing all these things to make us angry, has also, bad feeling. Like you can see that bad feeling in his or her reactions and even like appearance.
제가 내 코로나서 그 세바 죽여 말더나 가지 코너 세바 맞지와 연세 집어요 말세.
And so you don't have the intention to make other person become angry at you, but then when you make that person angry, do something to make that person angry, then you also become unhappy.
제다 티가랑 가서 피 파초들은 거니 다 이제 코로나베나 미시 몸바 야마나 아니 코로 제와도 찰삼바레 근데 코로들 마요나 코로들 잡아쇼니 이제 제트나 대원에 전에 반에 샤바 곰발레 코로 곰나 대야사레.
So when somebody is angry at you, then think about all these reasons, to have compassion towards him by thinking, oh, poor guy, he doesn't know, and because of ignorance and not knowing the reality, he's getting angry. He's going through a lot of suffering also by becoming angry. So may he be free from anger like that. When you think, from the suffering of anger, when you think like that, then your anger towards that person will go away right away. And so in that sense, it's more effective to meditate on compassion than love, to overcome the anger.
제가 미파초발라 가도 동아여바 가도 배나 미가 라타미까지 섬라 라테 쳐터와이나 그 대화다 대버쇼 삼바다 동아다 타와쇼 삼바니게 가기 슈체다래 나 삼당군에 동아다 타와쇼 삼바튼 되게 슈체다래.
So if you have somebody who is making you become angry, who is doing things to make you to irritate you or to make you angry, then at that time, is it effective to think that may he be free from suffering or may he have happiness? Which one is more effective, you think?
난두고 콜라야 피 코로랑에들 동아여바 가도 남중가도 토고요 말했어.
So usually we don't think of that person who is causing us to become angry. We don't think of that person as having any suffering. We also say, oh, that person is so bad. All the time we think, oh, he's making me angry. And we always think bad about that person. We never think about that person also going through suffering when he's making us angry. Okay, now let's meditate on that, and choose whichever one you find is more effective, to overcome the anger when somebody is angry at making you angry. Saying or doing things to make you angry, then what will be more effective to overcome your anger? So instead of to stop your anger, what will be more effective? Meditating on loving kindness or meditating on compassion? So whichever one you think and then meditate on that.
배나 만두 소소 코로랑이 메테고 만두 동아여와란 채바이나 그 이제 고마테 휴책으로 그랬어.
So if you understand that person who is causing us to become angry, doing more things that's making us angry, then that anger is going through suffering also. So if you understand that, then meditating on compassion will be more effective. If you don't understand that, then meditating on compassion might not be effective.
남중가도 대삼을 땅가 말해. 삼도 수직 땅가 말해 돼.
So normally we don't think in that way. We don't think of that person going through suffering, when he or she is doing things to make us angry.
제자 다 원아 나라 코로랑에 코라 두마여바 간진 하고 그러나 그냥 내게 미션발라 파 코론 두바잖아 나라 집으면도 되게 직발했어.
So how you understand that the person who is making you angry is suffering also? It's just like when you are making somebody angry. You are not happy also, right? You are suffering also. You are unhappy. Just like that, that person is also unhappy. Like that, you can, convey the reason in that way, to understand how that person is suffering also.
대야변에 천하기 미션 받고 놀라나 천하가 쌈데 드링가 콘롤라고 쌈고요 말다. 이나 천하기 소소가 간지 쌈수지 때 야만나치 전에 아니 미파조 콘롤라서 뭐라.
And just like you don't have the intention to make them angry, right? When you do or say something towards them to make them angry, you don't have the intention to say, okay, I'm going to say this, I'm going to do this to make that person become angry at me. You don't have that intention. Just like that, when that person is doing or saying something to make you angry, he or she doesn't have the intention either.
Okay, okay,
now meditate on that for about a minute.
대천하도 대단의 조금맨다 조금맨다 저라도 가이야다 따셔와.
So now this is not a stabilized meditation. This is an analytical meditation. So analyzing on which one is better for you. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah,
So, as you have analyzed now, so whichever is more effective for you, then meditate on that when somebody causes anger to you. And so after compassion, then you meditate on the altruism or superior intention. So the loving kindness or affectionate love and the altruism are very similar, right? So the difference of these two is the general and particular. General and particular. So this is like if it is superior intention, then it has to be love, affectionate love. But if it is affectionate love, then it's not necessary to be a superior intention. So the superior intention that comes after the great compassion, it has the affectionate love, or the love that comes from the force of attraction, by seeing all beings very attractive to you, and like that. So that's there. But if you see the beings as being very attractive to you, and develop love from that, not necessary to have that superior intention. And so when you see that person very attractive to you, then you want that person to be happy. Yeah. So I wish him or her to be happy, and so that's the love. So when that comes, then so when you have that, then doesn't necessarily you take the responsibility to make them happy. So you just wish them to be happy, right? But then when you develop that superior intention, not only you wish them to be happy, but you say, okay, I will take responsibility for myself to make them happy.
So at
the time when you when you meditate on the intention. When you're meditating on repaying the kindness of others, and at that time you want to do something to help them or to make them happy. And then at that time also, when you have developed the affectionate love or the love from the force of attraction, you see the being as being very attractive to you and want them to be happy. So and then you have that wish, wanting to do something good for you. I mean, good for them, right? In some way to repay their kindness during the time when you have developed that thought, wanting to repay their kindness, and then with that, then you develop this affectionate love, and at that point, it's still you're like wishing, and then when you come to the point, where you have developed the altruism or the spiritual intention, at that time you take the responsibility. Okay, and I want them to be happy, but I myself will make them happy, like that. So it's like when you're in the process of buying a stuff, analyzing, checking whether you should buy it or not, and then I say, yeah, it's really good, and then at the point, when you come to, yeah, I'm going to buy it now, and then you pay money. It's like that, when you are at the spiritual intention. And so if you have developed this great compassion, then the superior intention will come automatically. It will be like forced to come by itself.
Okay. 다도 진에 가제 아니 학습 세대 세다 대화다 된데 동화다 전에 년라라 요레스. 얘나야 텐디 제와다 나라랑기 타체고도 삼도 제배다 따티 나라랑기 제나마도 요거마도 삼고레스.
And so the compassion and love, also exist in the mind of the hearers and household relatives. But that superior intention, taking the responsibility upon oneself, to relieve them from suffering and to provide them with happiness, is only in the Mahayana practitioners.
배차전은 미치변한 되는 바 변나 천하 사대 사로요나 아다 메데 미치 야야부 로파이 콜 로파 칭게지나 야포도 삼바다 나라라기 책에 삼바 치와노다 소소 점체도.
So it's like somebody who has fallen into a water and drowning, and then at that time you're watching and you say, oh, I wish there is somebody who will come and help him. And that's one point, right? So you're still wishing good for that person, but then say, oh no, and I myself will go and help that person or rescue that person. So like that's the difference.
Okay, 다 되네 다 제서라 다 제라다 다 나이 나라라 책에 인삼 다 제대로 다 나라 단다 되네 책에 네번 도도면도 다 대교회가 네번 도도면 따거든 아마 빼차잖아. 아니 다 다당하면 가 최체 시금도 다 최체 장고서네 고 최체 장고로 왔어.
And then you think, okay, I want to jump and rescue that person, but do I have that power or potential to rescue that person? Oh, I cannot. Right now, I even don't know how to swim, so how can I rescue that person? So now I have to learn to swim. But then the person will be dead. But anyway, you're thinking of learning to swim, to rescue that person.
It takes time. When you learn, they already die. I tell you, that Pejana do yours. They are take what the Benai, Yanda, Lam-rim number of the Yanta Kodada, Yaundu. She done that Mamodu, that chance was hanging that much. Then the Shamasha was a chance to load, and they get the magic chair that she did not watch Shaki or this Kangaruchan, Chatama, Trinity, she had not called Sigma.
So like that, so you have the intention, to go and rescue, and then in order to do that, I have to know how to swim. So then I have to learn, and I'm going to learn to swim. I'm going to, get to know the swimming so that I can learn protect the beings who are drowning. Of course, that person will be there, but there will be so many other people that who are drowning also, right? So you can rescue them when you become enlightened. Or when you have learned how to swim, so you will be able to rescue people. And so your intention to swim, to learn how to swim, is to rescue other beings like that. So that becomes like the bodhicitta, wanting to achieve enlightenment in order to rescue sentient beings from the suffering of samsara, like that. So anyway, so these are all the short points that is also mentioned in the Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand and the Great Stages of the Path to Enlightenment by Lama Tsongkhapa. So I'm not going through each and every line of it, but you can go back and read on that and get more understanding also. So this is, I just kind of abbreviated in my own way.
제가 다 간접이나 야, 다 섬제도 저 대화다 demba dunga travel kur ngarana ga tache gundu chana te samda chote samgre was.
And so now you can try to think of that intention, superior intention, right? Taking the burden or the responsibility upon oneself, to relieve all sentient beings from suffering and to bring them all to the state of happiness.
다드네 소소 저와이래 그랬어. 알레 나한테 니바 누도 문도. 나도 다다 니바 요 말에.
So in order to take that responsibility, are you able to do that? Do you have that power or the ability, to do that? So right now, let alone all sentient beings, you don't even have, power or ability to relieve one sentient being from their entire suffering.
소소고 조모 소소 남이 삐삐자도 대화다 demba 동화도 제도 말했어.
And not even your friends, your relatives, your parents or your children, not even them, you can't even bring them, to everlasting happiness.
대파죠 소소야 대화다 demba 동화도 제도 말했어.
So then, let alone them, even oneself, you can't make even oneself right now to have the everlasting happiness.
다 땡어도 라책도 와.
So that is easier to understand, right?
제가 때 삼고 두 삼은 문에 지금 믹스점도 삼고다 두 저는 바르는 소소라 때 삼나 굳이 토와이 레고서 간지 코로스 지여사다.
So you know that that's not enough, knowing that it's not enough, you have to meditate on that, think on that, and then eventually you'll get the feeling or experience.
근데 다 삼다 원나 다 들리데 얘랑 다 처음부터 다 대라면도 야만나 샤조서 사 동보월라 대라야면도 아니 비다 대란도다 번나 사jel라 번나 샤조서 사 당보바다 사쪄월라다나 야 니바 타가면도 사저 사쪄와바다 사jel라다 니바 타가면도 다 설고 사제고도 삼백 그런도 콜레고서 봤어.
So now then, in order to relieve all sentient beings, from their suffering and to bring them to the everlasting happiness, who can do that? Do the heroes and solid realizers have that power? No, even they don't have. And then what about bodhisattva? Even bodhisattva don't have that. Bodhisattva, a different level of bodhisattva, right? The bodhisattva on the path of accumulation, and don't have that power. So even on the bodhisattva on the ground and the bhumi, like the first level bodhisattva don't have all that power. So like the bodhisattva on the second ground has more power than the bodhisattva on the first ground, and like that, even up to like bodhisattva on the 10th ground, don't have all the power like the Buddha has. And so therefore, it's not sufficient just to become that, and you have to become fully enlightened, a complete Buddha.
텐제 갑라 아니 번나 산제가 고속도 좀 연대 번나 잡수 갑나 콜라 녀리 치봉 칼라 콜라 녀리 가로
녀리 메바
아니 징가바 아니 펜타마다 던자바다 던조 사람한테는 고고게 살았지.
And then so think about how you will benefit, all these beings, right? And of course, for us, it's easy to think about benefiting our relatives, but what about our enemies? They're also sentient beings. They have been very kind to us. They've been our mother and so forth, right? So that is very difficult for us. So then who has that power or the mind, wanting to even benefit sentient beings? And those who are enemies, who have caused harm, it's like fully enlightened beings. And then think about the benefits of taking refuge, the benefit of all the qualities of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, and especially those qualities like Buddha has great compassion towards all without any bias, and then who Buddha benefits all, whether they have benefited him or harmed him, all like that. Those, like those main 4 qualities that Buddha has. And because of that, when you become Buddha, then you will benefit all sentient beings.
제가 도치 삼아가라 아니 따뇽치 맛이 전제 주소 아니 돈소베나 젠데 가로 아 젠데 로 깨베가 다 아니 젖 바레스 다 젖 바레스 가제 단직체 아니 샴바 니제 학섬 섬데 다 젠데 도 롱문에 들에스 배샤나고 송도와.
And so then like that, with that thought, then we want to develop bodhicitta now, right? So the thought wanting to become Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. And that time, of course, then that starts, with equalizing all sentient beings as, all sentient beings by seeing them as equal, and developing that, thought, recognizing all sentient beings as one's mother, remember their kindness, and wishing to repay their kindness. So when you have developed that, at that time you have laid a basis, a foundation, to benefit for others. Yeah? You have laid the benefit. You haven't really benefited yet, but you have laid the foundation, or the ground, to benefit others. And then once you have developed that, loving kindness, compassion, and altruism, then you're actually starting to benefit others.
And then I pay you the drums yours. Penangima Mithajala, the Mugesh or the Muge. The Mithama Shirochi de Kala and the Kundu, the same general, the Shash Sai Riser, and the power the chamber, Tanding also Namitama Goshawayana, that Tambodo Tamachiko Kangid and check to the end and that's an end of the Ragman do someday. And the teacher Yado, Yaman de Narara, Chasa Narara Sa, and then I call a sword on the Yasa, and the Kusama Tambares. And the Kusama Tambo de Sachana, they knew Chasa Jan Jasamari, Pentom, the Telengara, Chubo Sachana, get Tesangara, that support Yabochoda, and Kalashamas, Tutu, some could detach and Korara Gesa, and the Kalatogando, and the Jamatama song job terrorists, or today, called Doomsy, Benash.
Tilikare, Janjusem.
Jeda the Shanjab, Shanjab, Soso Rangi. Kanji Nara Rangi.
Soso Sangi, then
Soso Sanji, whatever, Soso Sanji.
And so when you become enlightened, when you are fully enlightened, then you will be able to benefit all sentient beings fully, right? So it's just like that story where there was a famine, and everybody was going through that hunger or starving, and then there was a family, and there was a family with a father, mother, and a couple of children. And so they have only like a little bit of food left. And if they were to distribute among them, then each one would have very little, and none of them will be able to survive with that food. And then the father thought, instead of distributing that to all of them, he would just take it all to himself. So then when he is strong enough, then he can go and look for food, and then bring food and then feed them. Rescue them like that. So it's very similar to that story like that.
Cheta on a Tandangati Jonata, Tanda Chetore, Tanda Chanazo Tawajan, George the Milli top deores, Sanjay Temba and Jadeores, that Tanda Dele large child to Tangama Tomamiores, that's some taco.
So you can benefit now also, but it's just like giving a little bit of food, and then after that you won't be able to benefit much to them. So this is the best time to do this practice of generating bodhicitta, because you have the 8 leisures and 10 endowments. You have never had this kind of perfect condition to do Dharma practice, never before. So this is the only time you have, so you should use this time to do this practice.
And they are drums you, no matter me, Mimmy, and the Takeba on my chomne, Tawaya Tang, and the Takan you are. Treasure Kanako Sadua. And it and quoting Omaka and June that me time my palma to Segres and the Marmama, Mamaseko, Tanga Tandi Ganaba, Messet dinner, Tamachim and Chomanos, Tanga Pagames, and the quote Tarding Mobile June. Care, Tart, Quarachi Duke the Barbaris. That pen over that.
So you should take this opportunity to do the practice, just like that story goes with a blind person who happened to fell on a mule, a horse, And then the horse was running very fast, and he was blind, and he was riding a horse, and people saw him, and then they shouted, "Oh, you better get off the horse, get off the horse!" And he said, this is such a rare opportunity for a blind person to ride a horse, so I'm not going to get off at all. So like that, you should make all the effort to do the practice.
제장도 단다 아니 온보 차자 청 아니 소삼로 따톱 아니 산제 템바 자데 데칼라 삼로 따나 탄 데레 따마도 요 말레스 테 삼방도.
And so at this time, when we have all the senses complete, and have the the teachings of the Buddha available for us, and have all these other conditions to do practice. If we don't do this right now, we will never be able to do this again.
제가 텐데다 샘제다 산제 톱공도 텐데 콜노 티가 컨네타 간도 마나 장와야나 콜로코와야나 추년바야나 추셰와나 차마 산제 공부토에 진로요래.
And then so you have to develop that up to that, thought wanting to become Buddha in order to benefit all beings because of all these things, and by preceding all the previous steps. And then once you have develop that thought wanting to become Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings, and then once you have that then whatever you do, whether you're studying Om Mani Padme Hum, whether you're doing prostration, circumambulation, or meditation, or study, everything becomes a cause to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings.
다 도체는 곰자네 아니 다 담보 깔에 자고르테 감내 깔에 자고르테 어두 자고르테 네 깔에 시라 자모고치 삼제도 산제 공부 톱고운도 선배 아니 좀매가 용어 가디 토바나 조치가 용어 가디 토바나 아니 프로세시다 세시다 톱라다.
So like that, you have to, of course, we are not used to this thought, wanting to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. It sounds good and it makes sense, we understand that part, but we don't have that thought, spontaneous or effortless thought. And so therefore we have to meditate on that thought again and again. And then when you have developed that thought with some effort, not a lot of effort, with some effort, when you're able to develop that thought, and then that time your bodhicitta, it's like 가서디 고신르베.
보름 셔지다 보세요.
보름 그래.
보름 버시요 버시. 시도.
Like a sugar cane. The bodhicitta like a sugar cane.
제가 슈거 캔데 코 빠빠다가 나나면 줄어요 말아. 슉치 뭐 싫어요 망가모.
So like just like the sugar cane, the sweetness in the sugar cane is not outside. You have to peel it. You have to peel it, and then you find the sugar or the sweetness inside.
제가想这个什么슉치 보면想좀 고제다 간지.
And so at that time you have what calls the artificial bodhicitta.
다 전에 샘제 간디진 통화나 아니 간디진 통화이나 다 샘제 가와나 나도 딱 샘진 디체다 산제 고마 토고 누니베 좀매가 영어 샘제는 통화들이 들리로 제 토바잖아 아니 자지고 샘 개와 아니 태와 지금 솔람도 쇼바 까지 담에서 이제 촉사변 고투바다 다 이나처럼 다 이게 뭐 찾아다.
And so the moment you have that effortless bodhicitta, which means like moment you see some being, or I must achieve enlightenment for the benefit of this being or that being, anything, any ant or insect or whatever kind of beings, worms, like every time you see that, when you have that thought, then that's called the effortless or spontaneous bodhicitta, the genuine bodhicitta. And at that time, from there on, then you have started to accumulate the merit, the merit in accumulating merit for the three countless eons. Start from there. Then from there on, you have started to accumulate the merit for the three countless great eons, and then you become bodhisattva. Then whatever you do becomes cause to achieve enlightenment.
배차지나 배나 간소다 밤마다 보고 버는 저와야 보여와이나 아니 밤에 보고 가딘 토바이나 가디 쳔바나 나 보고를 록바 책이 보고 내가 가르고는 가 책이 좀 소개거든.
So just like a parent, who has a good relationship with the child, who loves their child, will have this thought wanting to help the child all the time. The moment you see a child, you say, "Oh, I want to do something good for him," like that thought, will come automatically. So that's the kind of thought you should have towards any kind of sentient beings. When you see them, you want to become Buddha to benefit them.
다야만다 소소고 조보조모나 지나서 가리나 가디나 밑에 잡아도 밑에 도와나 그 가르치려는 가 제일 그 제대가 가리는 제일에서 밑에 로지되고다.
So, whenever you meet or see, your closest friend, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or whoever that you feel very close with. So whenever you see that person, you feel like doing anything for that person, right? And so that's the kind of thought you should have when you develop bodhicitta towards all sentient beings.
그렇죠? 칼라이나 심보 강하이나 코드냠도 했지요. 아니 지 땀이나 녀보 가래 녀면이 가래 코냠도 했지고 너 삼시 여러 소소다
So someone that you feel very close with. So any good thing that you have, like if it's a delicious food that you have, you want to share with that person. If you have a good news, good information, then you want to share with that person, like that. So that kind of person. So you have to have that kind of feeling towards all sentient beings, and then you will have that kind of feeling towards all sentient beings when you have bodhicitta.
제가 대영화도 단한 매영화도 소소 미들라 가와 아니 답 가래 가지 시도다 되 가서 나도 담아봐도 잡아는 해야 되나 가지 잡에 가와 되게 대영화로 왔어.
So the reason why you want to share all the good things with that person, or give all the good things to that person, is because you like that person, right? Because you like that person. Of course, in all level, it is based on attachment, mixed with attachment, right? Because we're attached to that person, therefore we want to be good to that person.
Okay. 다 대단다 안에 학sam도 니제 검설들레스 대 배잖아 림보저는 다 디디로 제 깨자리 디디로 차소해.
So that is the way to contemplate and meditate on compassion and altruism. And so there's a very extensive explanation in the text. So I just kind of abbreviated it.
Okay. 단대 아니 전제 명화 등에 권을 오셨다더래. 전제 명화 등에 권에.
So that's developing bodhicitta, the enlightenment mind through sevenfold cause and effect instruction.
아니 다 로장다 제라 아니 다제 냠제 권을 오셨다. 대시다 로티 슈치요. 니바 치요선 was.
And so then other way of generating the mind of enlightenment or bodhicitta, is through equalizing and exchanging self with others. It said that that's more advanced or more powerful.
제가 전제 다 인간도 주마테가 되는데 시대 때문에 와서 다들 망고네 지나 갈래 곰자 삼로다 아니 다 내 좋아다 샤접섬 gel라 깨와 쉐도 왔다 부름 샤지다 셈제시.
So that one we'll discuss again next time in the next lesson, next class. So as we go through the explanation of this, we will do the practice as well. So the time when we have completed the explanation on this topic, then you should have generated bodhicitta, at least like bodhicitta like the sugar cane.
세상에도 배자 코로나 말로 대시자세 콘 대시나 잡탄 대시나 잡 정도로 왔어.
And if we just go through the text and explain that, then it will be done, right? But we'll not have anything in our mind.
제다때 곰자 쳐서 삼로 다 곰자 아니 직된데 고치 연구해서 그러나.
So so contemplate and meditate again and again, and then definitely we'll get something.
Okay. What time? Okay, any questions? Yes, Bob.
So I'm wondering what the logic is for bodhicitta like a shepherd. So when somebody does bodhicitta like a shepherd, it's like they want to bring all others to enlightenment before themselves. But the logic we were talking about was that if they actually became enlightened first, they could benefit more beings. So I'm wondering how that works.
그래서
룩즈다고 생겼어요. 룩즈다고 생겼을 때는 가능성이 그랬다. 당가 참아 생겨서 거기도 되는 거 싸게 계세요. 로지라. 로디라 룩즈다고 생겼을 거라. 안티 가능성이 혹시 그랬어. 나는 상견에 되는 건조라 사마게는 건조 편도 제토하면도 건조라 편도 제시도 나한테는 상게 보고도 쓰네. 방보다 소소 가서 생겼던도 랑이 상게 로디 깨와 깨네 되는 전sem 기거라 대마 깨와 되는 전sem 관해서 기거라스 근데 루즈다고 생비데다 내가 로 매봐다 나 상게도 삼삼로 매봐지 신다 신 상게 살 거거든 되는 신은 알아 상게게 생각 깨고 근데 간에 스타트 페이지 처음에도서 자주 루즈다고 생비데다 자주 쌤니 다이면도서
된다고 말해 루드다वे 섬제다 녀바다वे 섬제가 섬제군에 말해 있나 섬깨다들이 요래 섬깨다 섬다다들이 요라고
So there's a way to generate bodhicitta. I mean that the way you generate bodhicitta, right? So you can say, oh, I want to lead all sentient beings to the state of enlightenment. Then I myself will, then I will lead myself to the state of enlightenment. Or say that, oh, like the bodhicitta, like a captain. So it says we are all going to gain enlightenment at the same time. So that's not possible, right? It's just the way to generate bodhicitta, but that bodhicitta is not a real bodhicitta. The real bodhicitta is like the bodhicitta like a king.
제가 대니자까지 샘께다 연지때다 상제 공부 톰도그 로께다들이 요래라면 권이 장접쌤이 임백해서 말해.
So yeah, I mean you can have that kind of a courageous mind. It's possible. You can have that's kind of courageous mind, and that is the way kind of you can have that kind of a way to generate bodhicitta, but that's not the real bodhicitta.
제가 안에 샘정문에 되다 잘못하고 샘제들이스.
So the real bodhicitta is the bodhicitta like a king.
얘나 젬바드니가 삼매대 젬게도 삼거려. 젬게체다. 샘제 탐방이 나랑 해라 사지고 코 젬다 삼거려 왔어. 오다 그 나냠도 차단 튀로고도 코 대어 젬다 삼거려 왔어.
So yeah, so the other mind, the bodhicitta like the shepherd and bodhicitta like the captain, they both are very courageous mind and the mind that wishes to benefit others, but those are not the actual bodhicitta.
제가 안도로나 도지 조사이나 얘가 있나 소소 그냥 들어 그러면 그거 콘도 사망에 냠도 들어 삼고 말어 왔어. 소소대 담보 샘치다도 소소로 그랬어.
So like when everybody is in the area, in the place, in the room, is in danger, then there's a fire or something danger there, and then like we usually normal people, ordinary people will think about how can I escape this danger, and then the more courageous person who is thinking about others will say how can I set them free, and how can I rescue them first. And then then the other person also thinks how we can all save, we can all be saved, how we can all be rescued. So that's like that kind of thoughts, and so that like that also you can have in the bodhicitta.
제가 단다 대나지 멤버다보다 휴대대 샘제 삼당기들이 요쪽으로 왔어. 나도 담도 쇼고도 왔어.
So yeah, so there can be thought, that's like the shepherd, like a bodhicitta, bodhicitta like a shepherd, or bodhicitta like a captain, and you can have that kind of thought.
Okay, 그 자주 샘 임백해서 말해. 샘 깨닫는 건들이 그래서.
So yeah, that's from the way you generate the mind. It's think like because you can have, I want to set all the sentient beings, and I don't care about myself. I care, because when you're cherishing others more than yourself, you think about them, and you don't think about yourself. So that's why you can have that thought. That's very possible, to have that thought wanting to rescue all sentient beings, first.
Okay.
Thank you, Geshe.
Others? Yes, Jennifer.
Thank you, Geshe. With respect to a sharp faculty bodhisattva, they would reach the point of generating great compassion, but would they also generate the superior intention before they realized emptiness? Or?
가로.
예, 나 장주스 농보도 쓰고. 돈이 먼저 가라 유명한 눈 권하는 돈도 들어.
도도도 로마주네가 도요다.
Yeah, no, the Shafiqul Bodhisattva, can generate, can realize emptiness even before developing all, developing the thought and recognizing all sentient beings as mother.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have great compassion first.
그래서.
이제 전부 그거 말았어.
제가 이제 전부
돈이 또 벌래 니지 첨부 깨고 말하지 그래. 전주에서 뭐 한번 넘보디
이제 전부 가로 니제다 간제 온보 노tum 얘기 싸워 니지 전부 도리 샤좀 생겨봐 도걸 나가다야.
말다 돈이 또
돈이 또 발라.
전주에서 뭐 한번 넘보디 돈이 또 벌래 니지 첨부 줄게 깨고 그래서
아리지 동마 30. 샹조 삼바 오는지 샹조 삼다 돈요트비 셔럽지 써봐 니가 니제라 하래 그랬어. 대원 니제 전부 고래 니제 고래 니제 전부보다 니제라 고래 니제라 하래 그랬어.
뭐 돈이 또 벌래
돈이 또 발라 니제 고래서 샹조 삼바 온보는 보.
Yeah, in order to generate realize emptiness, you have to have compassion, but not great compassion.
야 대단한 오마 오메나
Both level of bodhisattva, whether the sharp faculty or dull faculty of bodhisattva, they both need compassion in order to realize emptiness.
안다 가서나 아니 니제 전부도 토다 봐서 같이 해서 와서 대갑라야 니제 전부 니제 고래 했으라 그랬어. 뭐 노tum 얘기.
So for the both sharp and dull faculty of bodhisattva, you need compassion because like we're talking about the importance of the compassion at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end.
오케이. 단대기 니제 전보다 좀 더 니제 좀더 니제.
니 지금 고르서 그거 말.
제가 니제 전보다 좀 고래서 돼. 아니 다좀더 니제 가지.
전주선 바 내려가서 홍보 농보에 전수 홍보 농보에 가서 돈이 또 올라.
라 니제가 좀 그랬어. 니제 전보가
라마 피고랑 가서 내 유대 명가 된 거라 되어 말아. 돈이 또 말아.
그래.
전주선 전수 홍보 농보기 유대 명가 된 막게 거라 되네 가서 돈이 또 말아. 뭐도 또 말아. 돈이 또 말아.
대신에 또 여기서 얘나 대도 돈이 또 영화 대양 아니 또 니제라 하래 그랬어.
니는 처음 몰라.
아니 또 니제 전보라 봤다. 니제라 하래 그래.
So yeah, I mean, it is said that you can develop bodhicitta even before you start to do the sevenfold course in effect instruction practice. But of course, you have to have compassion. So the compassion from the sevenfold course in effect instruction is a great compassion, right? So that's not the you don't have to have that compassion. That's the compassion wishing to protect them from the suffering. Not just wishing them to be free from suffering, but wishing to protect them from the suffering. So that compassion you need, but you need to have a compassion wishing them to be free from suffering.
가르에서는 오모노보드에 반다 삼제탐제도 상제 고마 톱고도 삼거래. 된다 다톱 토고도 문도. 대라 바체 가려도 삼네. 대라 바체 제도 소대 아니 다드레샤. 아니 다드게 셰 아니 덴바토마 따지제는 다드 셰마 또 그래서.
아니 담보를 줄때 가는 장주쌤 그렇게 어려.
장주 샘들 때마다 가지 다 프로시에다 veces también quiero ver va 이제 quiere 아니 대가
랜드 좋아치는다
말말 가르나 샘제 탐제도 상제 고마 도고도 제자가 아니 다 샘제도 동화다 차고도 가지 동화다 찬도로 째거로 와 동화다 찬도로지 동화다 차와 요도메 아니 동화다 가와 용건도 근데 동화다 아니 단다 단자 마리베 샤와 용도 세메 단데 셰메 바 또야 도도 문도 단데 셰에 도도 문도 따지 째네 아니 셰네 이제 좀 째가로 샤주선 째그레스.
So you have this wish, wanting them to be free from suffering. So, and then is it possible to be free from suffering or not? And it says, yes. So, what is the cause of the suffering? So where does suffering come from? Is the delusion, karma and delusion, and then how is the karma and delusion can be stopped or not? Can be eliminated or not? And then you'll find the way. Yeah, it can be eliminated. So the delusion is the main delusion is the ignorance, seeing things that exist from their one side. And then if you develop the thought that sees that things are empty of exist from their one side, then you can overcome that delusion. And so when you think about that, then you realize emptiness first in that way. And yes, so it's possible. So then you first see it as possibility, and then you develop the wish, to want to have it, without seeing the possibility, and after seeing the possibility.
근데 누수에 빼잖아. 아니 길라면라. 아니 전주서 뭐 오보 노보데 토마 샘제 담베다 산제 콤바 톱 고고 누구 상 그래서. 근데 톱니다 머니 아니 따제제네 아니 톱 니바 쳔메 레바트네 아니 드네 제네 sam 산주선 제그래서.
So like it's just in the text, the sharp faculty Bodhisattva will see that it is required or it is needed, to become Buddha in order to benefit others, and then they will check whether it's possible to become Buddha or not. And then when they see that it is possible to become Buddha, and then they will start to make an effort to become a Buddha.
제가 아니 덴득이 셰 메바 아니 세메 또네 아니 어따때 덴득 셰 메바 또야도 메와 치야도 산제 콤바 토변 독삼네 아니 장초섭 제그래서.
And then when you come to realize that things do not exist in a way it's been grasped by the self-grasping or truly grasping exist and ignorance, then it says yes. So it is possible to overcome that, and then now yes, it's possible to become fully enlightened.
제가 아니 남주시다 온보 노보도 뜨보니가 상보다 때서 작은 말에.
So that's the difference, in a way that sharp faculty Bodhisattva and the dull faculty Bodhisattva think.
나 온보 노보 되게 당보 그게 따다 톱 도근도 뭐도 그 세메 레버 따네. 오다 톱 도근도 삼네. 그 들라면 쇼게. 온보 또보 되다 그 제가 그 어디견 단 로디가 되려 그래.
So the sharp faculty Bodhisattva sees whether it's possible to achieve a state of full enlightenment or not. When he sees the possibility, then he enters into the path. The dull faculty Bodhisattva doesn't even check, he just enters into the path. So we are supposed to be like the sharp faculty Bodhisattvas, right?
제가 나도 가래 다른 나도 간제 대한민국 시험에봐 또 와요다. 나도 말이봐 빠르게 하고 열어봤어. 대파나 안에 다주면부터 그래서.
Because we see, that that's a possibility first. We see the possibility. We see that things do not exist in a way it's been grasped by the truly grasping ignorance, right? Ignorance grasping the true existence, and how things do not exist, truly like that. And by seeing that, then we, enter into the path.
제가 되게 이게 골 다 이게 여하튼 레버디원 돈에 다 뒤쳐당한도 다 샤지 샘 곰야마고 이제 공부요.
And so by seeing that that's the possibility, of achieving that goal, the result, the goal, the enlightenment, and then now it says, okay, now I have to enter the path. So for that, then you go through the sevenfold course in instruction, developing bodhicitta and so forth.
제가 그나 돈이 대신 소지 또 써야 돼. 쇼치니 그 깔레카오네 쇼치니야 깔레카오 매서로 대신 또 그 세는 되지 인사를 샤이로 또 봐라. 되는데 오래다.
So the realizing emptiness in the manner of meaning generality, it's like having the image, of the thing, whatever you are realizing or thinking, they have the image, of that thing in your mind. That's what called realizing in a manner of meaning generality. So in one way, it's difficult, but on the other way, if you think it's just the thought of that, a thought of that thing, whatever thing that you are thinking of, in your mind. Yeah, so the manner of meaning generality, they having the image of that thought, it's easy, right? It's not that difficult. But the thing is that we have not gained ascertainment on that, right? So even though we does, it makes sense, it's like that. So we can have the image of that thing in our mind, but we have not gained ascertainment because of that. Then today we think like that, but tomorrow we don't think. We don't continue to think like that. The image doesn't come in our mind all the time because we have not gained ascertainment on that. And once we have gained a settlement on that, then it becomes we gain control over that. We have that all the time.
Okay, maybe I talk too much of one question. Maybe it makes it more complicated. Any other questions? Ed, do you have any questions? How's the man? Which was better, man or Australia or New Zealand? No, you mute, we don't hear you.
It's winter in New Zealand now.
I think you're the most smart person. You look like you look birds, there's some birds. They're here, the summer, they come here. Here, winter, they go other place. This is good. Yeah, this is.
Go back.
Oh.
We don't know when we can go back.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like that. You see, you can rejoice, wherever whenever you're just comfortable, you can rejoice that day. Whatever possible it's nice to spend for our short life. We don't have a very long life. Okay, anyway. Any other questions? If you don't have questions, it's wonderful. I'm very happy for all of you see your face. It's really feel like we are just here. I don't feel anything too far away. We see all the time. Then it's wonderful. Still keep healthy much as you can. Then try to do meditation. This is, I think, best time to more meditation because no one bothers you. You have also no choice to go out all the time. Otherwise, we go to here, we go to here. I'm also walking around. This just I'm walking around a lot. The one day, Michael told me I got how much? How many more walks I did? You moved.
Like 11,000 steps?
Yeah, this is. I walk around here. Also, I walk around the school, the riverside. Yeah, do a little bit of exercise, walk. Make sure you become overweight at this time. Also, don't lose your weight. Make sure you eat food much as you can. Okay. Okay, then we stop. Thank you. Or is it 2 o'clock? Oh. Okay. Now you pray.
Saji perki jekshing me tok tram ri rab ling jing ni de gin pa di san ge jing du ming te o wa gi droko nam dak jing akcher par shu je tsun la me kutse rao ten ching nam ka trin le chok cher gi pa dan lo sang ten pedron me sa sun gi dro e mun sel tak tu ne gyur chig idam guru ratna mandalakam niryatayami. The short, long life prayer for His Holiness. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Savior of the snowland teachings and transmigratory beings who extensively clarifies the path to unifies emptiness and compassion, to the lotus in the hand, Lord Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech may all your holy wishes be fulfilled. You who uphold the subduer's mortal way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. Through this virtue, may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious Supreme Bodhi Mind, may where unborn arise and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Meek me tse we ter chen chen rizik, dream yen pe wang po jam pel yang, gang chen ke pe Urgyen Tsongkhapa Lo Sang Drakpe Jabla Solwade. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Jangchub.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Have a
Geshe-la.
good
Thank
day.
you, Geshe-la.